Okay, I was muted. Hi everyone, good evening. My name is Ben Radi. I'll be your host today this evening. I hope you had a productive day and you're ready to learn more about IoT at this time. I'm marketing outreach of Linkers, and I'll be talking you through link webinar scaling retail with IoT with our co-host, with our keynote speaker Faisal Al Khaldi.
Thank you.
He will be taking you through an in-depth journey to an emerging technology of IoT and how it can be a part of scaling your business.
Lovely, Bayan. Thank you, and it's a pleasure to get in on the Zoom with you, meeting all our.
In this webinar, we'll be going in depth about the digital revolution in retails of IoT and why our brick and mortar is still needed, and how is IoT is considered to be the new gold of scalability. And last of all, we'll be looking through at Linkers technology and how they're being part of the IoT community. If you can please go ahead, Faisal, and let's start.
طبعا everybody remembers when we used to listen to music. We used to listen to normal cassettes. فاكرين أم كلثوم وفيروز نسمعها على كاسيت صغير كده. It used to be really lovely days where everything was slow a little bit, and we used to grab a car or get into a bus in order to go to the market. We do our shopping. We had to plan. We had to plan a lot in order to go shopping, and it wasn't easy. We had to have a budget in mind in order to spend and have a long list. Something for the house, something for the car, something for the kids, something for to wear if we are planning on a ceremony or something. And we go to the market and we start crossing out this checklist. I think we still do, but in a different way. And we collect our items from different shops until something happened called big box retail. And basically, big box retailers are a big store that has a lot of small shops inside. These small shops are selling different items, what we call today a mall. Then a hypermarket came in where everything that you might need under one roof. Now, with different, before we go there, with different digital technologies rising. If you guys join, just mute yourself. Thank you. So with different digital technology arising, something called e-commerce and m-commerce. Luckily, m-commerce stands for mobile commerce. So not only e-commerce arose, but also mobile commerce, where we started selling items instead of on the shelf, on an electronic shelf, where you go into a website, you could select your items, and if you remember your checklist, you pick up your checklist and go into these lists and shelves, electronic shelves, and pick up your items, pay for them, and leave. And wait until they deliver it to you. Now, what happened with e-commerce and mobile commerce, it started a wave to bring different new customers, let's say digital customers, into the World Wide Web, where the essence of m-commerce or mobile commerce is delivery. So the more you have transient and streamlined delivery, the more successful m-commerce, e-commerce you have. The less successful mobility or delivery, the less successful e-commerce you have. Yet, for retailers, normal retailers, life is the same. Nothing changed. They didn't feel any heat from e-commerce until Amazon came. And Amazon changed the way we look at e-commerce by integrating the supply chain into their working model. And they became scalable. And this is why we say it's very important to think about scalability when we talk about retail, IoT data, and so on. Because how can we unlock retail scalability using digital technologies, likewise as what's happening in e-commerce? So what happened in this digital revolution? Faster purchasing experience. People just logged into websites, picking up items. They save items in their favorite lists. They get recommendations based on their selections. They get tailored experience once they log in, because we have the history of that person and we understand who he is, we understand what did he buy, and therefore we present to him different experiences. And therefore, it is easy to capture data about customers on e-commerce or mobile commerce. Now, how can we take that and scope it again to retail? But in order, before we do that, we need to understand the market size. So if we move to the next slide, we see that even with this digital revolution and what's happening around the world, we see e-commerce represents only 16% of global retail market. يعني لسه في البداية we still have the majority of the market in offline stores, and the market share, the essence of humanity to shop is still in traditional retail stores. طيب why is this happening? Why still, even with the revolution in technology and digital services and e-commerce and Amazon and Alibaba and all those crazy guys coming up, why is still 84% is owned by traditional retail? If we go to the next slide, we see that basically people like to touch their items that they're buying. 46% of shoppers, they like to make a decision while they are in the retail store. And this is what we call zero-time decision, where most of the decision making to buy something or to make a purchase happens in retail stores. And guess what? The zero-time decision in physical retail is very high compared to e-commerce. That's why in e-commerce, we have something called bounce rate, very high bounce rates. People just land on the main page and they leave. While in retail, once you are inside the grocery store or the retail, you most probably you have higher probability you're gonna buy something out. And 70% of shoppers prefer to leave grabbing their items with them. You remember delivery? It's the same thing. Convenience for people. Once they buy, I pay my money, I want to get my items right now. And this is what's happening in retail. That's why retail is going to stay alive, and it just needs a little bit of push, a little bit of transforming the customer experience on the shopping floor, making it more appealing, more modern, more interesting, I would say, to make customers enjoy their shopping experience. And this is exactly what we are going to look into today. Like, since retail is attractive, people would love to go back and buy from retail shop. We miss markets so long during COVID, and we miss being inside shopping malls, chasing around promotions and looking at new stuff or newcomers. We can still find some store managers struggling with daily operations. They have a huge pressure to sell. Their business managers are on their heads. They want them to sell. Everybody, every decision manager is asking this store manager to sell more, sell more, sell more. Yet they are busy with daily operations, busy with customer service. They need to follow on operational details. They need to check their inventory, call suppliers. They have to follow up on employees not showing up. They have a lot of things going on they cannot follow. And they have someone on top of their heads telling them, you need to sell more. So basically, they need time to think, to plan what they need to do in order to sell more, in order to save customers or to serve customers. And in order to do that, they need to collect information. The collecting information takes time. It's not easy to collect information about how many people passed by my store today, how many people walked in, how many people were standing in front of diaries or in front of sweets or in the fast food aisle or cans aisle. All of this information are impossible to collect rather than the time you need to spend in order to collect. And if you do so, you will end up with low accuracy. So this is leading to the following facts. And we need to think a little bit. 88% of companies are actually suffering from inaccurate data because of what we mentioned. Everybody is busy. Decision makers are requiring data every day. Store managers, they need to rush data out, collecting them by any mean, ending up in very low accuracy. 88% of the market are suffering from inaccurate data. And guess what? 70% of data living inside retail stores are not captured. All what they are providing to their managers are only 30%. 70% is still not captured. We don't know how much time people spend on the point of sale. How many people are waiting on the point of sale? You need to count that. Still not captured. We don't know what's our convergence rate in retail because we don't know. We're not capturing that. We only capture how many tickets we record in our point of sale. We only capture how much did we sell. We only capture, if we have a people counter, how many people walked into our stores. The rest, what we call before the fact, before the purchase, is not captured. 70% of this data happening on the retail store is not captured لسه. still ما هي captured. و60% أو 16% 16% of retailers use data in their decision. يعني 84% of the market, they need data to build decisions, but they do not have the mean because it's not accessible to them. So how IoT can help them? How IoT can help these companies and retail to get faster decision, scalable decision, scale their operations, scale their sales. Number one, IoT helps retailers to gather data around customers and customer traffic, customer trends, customer behavior in the shopping floor. It can help us better understand customer behaviors. It helps us offer a personalized experience. Customer experience in the shopping floor does not mean only number of people, but also the theme, the touch and feel, even the sentiment, even the scent that you're sending inside retail stores. حتى العطر والنوع and theme that you provide in the shopping floor is important to people. IoT helps us deliver that. And it gives us opportunity to increase sales and growth based on traffic of people, traffic of merchandise, traffic of demand. So in a nutshell, an IoT market size is increasing because we need more sensors to read data. We need more data to read our customers. We need to cover more sensors in different retail stores. Now, retail does not stop at grocery or fashion. It's huge. It covers even F&B. And that's why when we look at IoT market, we look at $114 billion market in Africa, $2.3 trillion market in Europe. This is for retail only. $4.5 trillion in America and 2.6 trillion in Asia. This is only in retail. This is an IoT market size. And this is based on an ICD report. Now, let's dig deep. أول حاجة, we talked about IoT can help us understand customers. IoT can help us scale operations. IoT can help us understand our operation. How? Now we'll talk specifically about use cases. We will get into the breadth and the beef of what we are talking about today. Number one, customer behavior analysis through connected cameras. We can understand customer analysis. Where do they go? What are the areas inside my store they like to stay in more or spend time more, which we call heat maps. And we do that by analyzing camera feeds. Every retailer, they have cameras inside their stores. And IoT systems tap into that, gather that data, analyze it, and provide a detailed analysis to the cloud for you to monitor, convert them into KPIs, set triggers, and automate actions. Similarly, IoT helps us in food safety by connected sensors. You have freezers, fridges, food cabinets. Some items have sensitive temperature limits. They cannot go beyond 2 or below 2. You set these temperature sensors and you set them on the cloud on certain triggers. If it goes below or up, you need to notify a store manager in order to take care of these merchandise. Improve security. Let's spend some time on use cases because I believe these are important and most relevant. So improving security, lowering theft with RFID. Of course, we know this. This is not new to us. But what is new is connecting these RFID sensors and these RFID readers to the cloud provides you more analysis on items movement, items theft, and items purchase. As well as you understand which item is being grabbed more frequently. So in fashion, if you are in fashion industry and you have 4, 5, 10 types of clothes, ممكن احنا نتكلم على علومار مثلا ثياب, and they have limited items, they know what they're selling, it's not like 100 items. By attaching a small sensor on these demo items or these open thobes, you can understand which item is being grabbed and looked at frequently from a very small sensor attached to the fashion, to the clothes itself. And this is one of the use cases. Managing warehouse and coolers and temperatures, another use case. Track customers' movement with Wi-Fi. Basically, we tap into Wi-Fi signal and see without the customer being connected to Wi-Fi, the system is able, or IoT systems in general, analysis systems in general, can tap into Wi-Fi access point signals and analyze where people like to move, how do they move, where do they group, do they come in groups or come individually? A lot of information you can know from analyzing Wi-Fi feeds without customers connecting, by the way. As well as get faster access to data with edge computing. Now there is a new shift in providing IoT data or IoT sensors. Not everything goes to the cloud. There is a small gateway صغير كده, like a modem that sits inside the store, connects to the sensors and gathers information. And this edge software or edge modem sends all the information to the cloud. Getting forecast and prediction with AI, and this is where you bundle IoT data with AI for forecast, prediction, and optimization. Now, this is in a nutshell use cases of IoT. Now, how can we transform these use cases into scalability? Now, we understand that data is the new oil. So data, IoT produces data. This data becomes gold for scalability. If I understand my 50 branches distributed in a geographical manner, and I understand that the convergence rate of this area is better than that area, I'm spending X dollar per square meter in that area, lower than the other area, while convergence is better here. It helps me scale my operation in the better convergence areas. With data, in order to become gold, we need to gather it. We need to have the data first. So number one, for your scalability, you need to identify what are the most important KPIs that affect your scalability. Is it sales data? Is it customer data? Is it operational data? Is it supply chain data? Which one? Once you understand your KPIs and you have a clear understanding that these set of KPIs, if I keep a closer eye on them, I will figure out the secret sauce to be efficient and to be scalable. After identifying your KPIs, data gathering starts. Before that, it's very dangerous to just get into the game. It will be like meaningless. You're shooting in the dark. You don't know which KPI you want to hit. So first of all, you need to identify your KPIs. What are you looking for to improve? This is the most important thing. And I always advise customers to look out before subscribing to any service, before trying any service, look at your current operations. What are your current problems? Are they operational problems? Are they sales problems? Staff problems? Then look at the KPI. If you monitor, you will solve that problem and double down on it. So let's say I have a customer retention as a KPI. It's a very important parameter for me. I want to keep a closer eye on it. It helps my scalability because the more people comes back, the more people buys, the more brand loyal they become, and therefore I understand what brings them back. Let's say I'm going to follow on retention. In order to increase sales, I know my retention rate. I'm monitoring my retention data and it's becoming like 9% or 5% month over month, and sometimes up, sometimes down. And what I did, instead of arranging my shopping floor in a certain dimension, I rearranged my shopping floor. I kept things in a certain arrangement, and I saw that my retention rate is going down. I changed again until I had a case where for 2 months in a row, my retention rate started to climb. Maybe I used to arrange seats in a very unpleasant way. After changing the seats in a restaurant or a coffee shop, people start to stay more. People start coming back. They felt cozy. Maybe you added something that affected this KPI. Now you want to increase your sales. Now, most important, number one is to verify the KPI you have chosen is the correct one. To gather data to fill in that KPI, it's very simple. Based on the number of sensors or the sensors that can bring you this data. We'll talk about it in a moment. Now comes the action. After you know that what you have done affected your KPI, you're monitoring your KPI, we'll talk about how to create an action. Increasing sales, let's say, is one of the actions. For a better supply chain management and better understanding of customer needs, in order to increase sales, you need to keep a closer eye on your supply chain. Because sudden increase of sales chain, of your sales demand will cripple your supply chain, will lead to a bad customer experience. So you need always to keep a closer eye, not only to your standard KPI, but the attached measurements, the affected KPIs. If you increase this, what will happen to that? And therefore, you have like a formula. If I have 100 people coming in per hour, I need 4 people serving them. If my number of people grow by this rate, it will reach to a limit where 4 people is not enough. I need to add more people to serve on the shopping floor, yada, yada, yada. And therefore, you can literally follow on your operation that matches the demand that are coming to your store. Therefore, you can predict what seasons some items are sold in order to improve your supply chain, to improve your relationship with suppliers. Now, frequency of purchase, you need to gather accurate data on number of sales and customers, retention rate, that will trigger the frequency of purchase. بمعنى, let's say that after monitoring your retention rate as a KPI, you notice something really weird. During weekends, starting from Thursday, there is a spike in retention rate. And with this spike of retention rate, the demand on croissant increased. That means there is something happens that triggers this behavior. Why do people, they come back and try my croissant, they order more croissant when they come back? If I change the supplier, I need to monitor this. Maybe my supplier is the problem or my supplier is the advantage. Exactly, this is the case what's happening with F&B and people serving customers on the ground. They always complain, sometimes customers complain, the food is not like before, the croissants are not like before, the merchandise are not like before, because the owner changed the supply. And the problem is owners or the managers, they don't know until they lose their customers and they look at the financial data and they see, oh, we are losing customers. Our sales is plunging. So before that happens, look at your customers' retention. Before having a deal with a supplier, monitor your KPIs, give some samples, try them, do some testing and monitor your KPIs. Are they affecting by any change in your operation or not? This will help you stay scalable. Otherwise, you will not have any time for trial and errors, and you will just lose money because you're shooting in the dark. You're changing things in operation, you lose customers, and you don't know what happened until a fact comes in. Then a data-driven decision. And this is important where when we see facts, if we take like a merchandise from a supplier and we see numbers telling us people are not coming like before, we have facts, numbers to tell to our management, dear Mr. Purchasing Manager or Procurement Manager, your supplier sucks. Our data says so. You need to change your suppliers. Maybe you are having an SLA or contract with a maintenance company who should come every once in a while to fix or maintain chillers, maintain ACs, but workers are coming, having a cigarette, and they leave. They don't know if they fixed something or not. They make themselves like they're doing something on the machine, or you don't know what's going on. So the best thing is you have sensors attached to these machines, and you know exactly if they were maintained or not. And you have data-driven decisions to help you being effective, being efficient, and take decisions on the fly. You have an increased spike of people visiting your store. You need more people to deploy on the stores. Maybe you have the other scenario where people are not coming to your store. You need more social media campaign or marketing campaign to ask people to visit certain store to get a promotion. These are some tactics that you can play. Then you look at your strategies based on the data gathering you made, the trial and error you made in increasing sales, frequency of purchase and retention. You had the data-driven tactics. Now you look at your strategy and improve your marketing strategy, your operational manual based on the data that you have gathered. And final but not least, understanding the trends. When on a seasonal trend, weekly trend, daily trend, there are different trends that are important to your operation and important to your sales and marketing. I took some time here because I believe this is important for anyone running a retail business in different locations to open your eyes on multiple things, not only what's happening on the ground. And then let's dive deep next into how can we help retailers do just so. So basically, one of our services is called Customer Experience or CX, Linker CX. Linker CX helps retailers understand customer trends and behavior on the shopping floor. And we measure 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. We measure 9 KPIs, 9 important KPIs in customer traffic and customer analysis. Real-time count, how many people walked in real time. Outside traffic, visitor count, which is same as real time. Turn-in rate, retention rate. Turn-in rate means what's the percentage of people I am attracting from the people walking by or passing by my store. Let's say 100 people passed by my store in an hour. I received 50 people in my store as visitors. My turn-in rate is 50%. Against, I have another branch somewhere in the city. 1,000 people pass by the store on the car, on the road, or on the sidewalk, regardless. You're measuring a very specific KPI, huh? And you have a turn-in rate over there is 10%. Now, you have two branches, one 50%, one 10%. Why is it 10%? Is it the parking problem? Or you're not lucky with the location enough? Then we come into a retention rate or return rate, percentage of people coming again. Let's say you are one of the locations, your retention rate is 60%, while in another location, it does not go beyond 10% by whatsoever. And you visited that location and the 60% location, and you found that it's near a commercial area where the same people comes visit you again and again and again because they work upstairs. It's a good idea to give that specific branch a special treatment because you have loyal clients. And if that branch, by the way, if that branch is sitting in a different city and you are in the management office in a different city, you don't know what's going on until you see the facts, until you see the numbers. This is why it's important. New customers, and this is important to understand, am I attracting new customers or just the same people in 1 year? Do I need, and why this is important? If I have a very high new customer rate in a city, that means if I open a new branch, will I have the same rate? Then I compare it with another city where I have higher branches, higher number of branches, and say, okay, now I have the opportunity to open more branches in this. Because in 1 year, my new customers rate is very high. I didn't capture the whole market, of course. Now, peak and low hours, it's important for you to mobilize your team, activate promotions based on heat maps and during the day or during hours, that help you to do stuff optimization at the end of it. This is what we call CX. And it happens, how do we do CX? By simply, we attach a sensor. Where is my, no, go back. Where is my, okay, annotate. I cannot annotate. Okay. If you see the small box on top of the door, the small rectangular thingy, this guy here is a sensor actually. A sensor with a camera that monitors people and count them and put them in the cloud in order to check and monitor your trends in different locations. Now, if we move on, this service we called CX, it's a subscription based, where you have access to a cloud platform where people counters continue to count people, showing you your analysis on the cloud anywhere, anytime. You can extract report from this system, as well as share the data with your team and set up triggers that helps you optimize your team in engagement. If we move forward, here we can look at how can we manage marketing campaign and the impact of marketing campaign on our customer trends. And we do trial and error with our marketing teams. Mr. Marketing Manager released a casual promotion. A promotion that buy one, get one free in a casual way. We need to look at which branches responded better than others. We need to look at what time of the day they came and compare it to another promotion where it's not casual, it's tailored made for a certain segment, and to monitor which branch responded, which time of the day. And from there, we calculate ROI of marketing, which is a very hot and hard topic to touch. Managing ROIs of marketing, which is really hard. especially when you're talking about physical location. Now you have the tool to help you understand your spending in marketing and return of investment of your marketing investment in there. Now we need to move on and see what type of sensors we have in order to understand how to use them. So basically, we have three types of sensors: people counters or people sensors, environment sensors, and energy meters. And people counters, it counts people, the 9 KPIs that I talked about. Environment sensors, we have a variety of temperature, humidity, vibration, lux or lighting sensors, as well as energy meters, where we can understand our consumption and machine consumption and total energy consumption. And in order to understand what type of sensor, I'll take you back to your KPI, look at your KPI, and you will understand which sensor do you need to connect to our cloud in order to understand and have a closer eye on your KPI. Move forward. Of course, we do not stop at sensors. We have a very helpful team who helps you build your reports to your managers, who helps you understand the data, who helps you understand what kind of information you need to gather and what kind of report you need to report back to your manager. This is called the data team and customer success team, who helps you on regular basis, helps you extract reports whether on hourly, daily, weekly, or monthly basis. I hope I have given you enough information today that helps you take a decision to scale your business